And we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mack to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you get started on your fitness journey. What's up, folks? Hope you're having a great week today. Hope you started off right on the right foot. Today is Monday. Hope y'all got after, worked on whatever it is that you're trying to work on. But we got a special episode for y'all today, and that is because today's episode is episode 100. Yep, that's right. Episode 100, 3 digits. We made it. Honestly, never really expected to get this far, but hey, we here. So we're going to do it. Yeah, today's podcast, I didn't plan anything special out. I'm literally just going straight off the dome. I don't have no script today. We just going to talk, chit chat, hang out. We're going to reminisce on the podcast a little bit. And then at the end, I'm going to take y'all back to where we started at, all the way back to episode 1, where we talked about consistency. And I'm literally just going to hit a few little points straight off the dome and kind of relate how I use consistency in my podcast, but it relates to also your fitness journey. But yeah, so with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into the podcast. And like I said, I don't really have a plan. We're just going to talk about, we're going to run through some of the old episodes, and I'm going to see if any sticks out to me that I'd like to hit on again. But just a little recap of the podcast is I started the podcast back in 2022, and I was consistent for a little bit, just like y'all are in your fitness journey. You start off hot, motivated, ready to go. You're consistent with it. And then guess what? You fall off. Well, that's exactly what I did. I fell off. I was kind of hit or miss. I was supposed to do one episode a week, and I did that for like a month or two. And then I fell off. Then I got to where I was doing only one episode a month. And then I think I went a few months without doing one at one time. So then when 2023 rolled around, I decided as a New Year's resolution, that I was going to do one episode a week, or I was going to do 52 episodes total. Um, and I did that. I think I actually did 54 episodes, I believe, in 2023. And then since we made it a habit and we got into the routine of doing it every week, I didn't make it a New Year's resolution for 2024, but I just continued doing it. So I'm still doing it once a week, and I'm actually a week ahead right now. So if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you will be hearing this a week later, because I do record my episodes live. So if you're tuning in live, what's up? Appreciate it. But if not, you're gonna be listening to this a week later. But yeah, so I was hit or miss for a little bit, and then I decided I was gonna make a change. I was gonna get consistent with it, and I did that. So ever since 2023, I've made at least one episode a week. Couple times I've made more than one episode a week. But yeah, so we're gonna hit 52 episodes again this year. That's the goal. So yeah, appreciate every one of y'all that has tuned in, listened to the podcast, left a review, told your friend about it, whatever. I appreciate y'all. Y'all mean a lot. We actually just hit 7,000 views on the podcast total. So that's not just for one episode, that's for all the episodes. So for me, I'm proud of that number because it's a small podcast, but hey, we're getting there. We're gonna get to 10,000 before you know it. So yeah, if you like the podcast, tell your friend about it so we can get the numbers up. We can get it out there and spread some value, spread some knowledge so other people can enjoy their fitness journey just like y'all are, or getting started on. And that's the whole goal. So yeah, let me go through any episode. So I did like 4 different interviews. So those are all good episodes. I really liked. I really as y'all know, this is a solo podcast. So when I did the few interviews I did, I really enjoyed getting to be able to interview other professionals in the field, people that have different backgrounds, that um have a lot of knowledge, have a lot of experience in training in fitness. So it's cool to kind of ask them questions and see their perspectives on things, because I'm always open to other people's perspective when it comes to fitness, because as we all know, fitness is not a cookie cutter program. There's not a one size fits all in anything when it comes to fitness. Everything can be modified. Everything's different depending on who it is. Everything's personal. So I like getting other people's perspective. I always like to say I like to be a student of the game. Um, so yeah, I'm always learning, always looking to improve, get other perspectives, get better, things like that. So that's the whole goal when it comes to fitness. But yeah, so I'm just looking through some of the old podcast episodes, see if I see any that stand out. The interviews were all cool, of course. Episode 1, talking about consistency. I still think that's the number one thing you need in your fitness journey. Period. Regardless, hands down. Like if you're consistent, you will see progress. It may just take you a little bit of time. But yeah, so that's why we're going to hit on that a little bit later. We're going to talk a little bit more about consistency. But yeah, what I really wanted to do with this episode is tell y'all my story again. Just tell y'all about me because we have some new listeners. We have new people tuning in, listening to the podcast. Um, some people that may have never listened before. So I'm gonna reintroduce myself, tell y'all my story about how I got into fitness, and hopefully it will inspire y'all to start your fitness journey, to start getting your health on the right track. Um, Everybody always has something they could be working on, and it in the podcast it's not necessarily just all about fitness. We talk about mindset, we talk about relationships, we talk about a little bit of everything on here, but it's mainly centered around fitness because I think fitness is like the center point of everything else you do in your life. So if you ever feeling off or want to get better or something, or you feeling like you want to get your life back on track and you don't know where to start, well, I will always say start with your fitness. And why is that? Like why if you're trying to get rich, why would you start working out? Like that don't make no sense. But fitness is kind of like the center of everything, in my opinion. If you start working out, working on your body, improving your health, improving your mindset, doing things that's gonna set you up to be more prepared. Like you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna feel better, you're gonna be more confident. Like fitness is gonna boost almost every aspect of your life, and it's gonna have a trickle down effect. So if you're trying to improve your relationships, getting in the gym, working out, that's gonna improve your relationships. It's gonna improve your career, your job, whatever it is that you're trying to work on. I think fitness can help with that. It can be that beginning point, that stepping stone to get you there. So yeah, wherever you're at in life, if you're not, if you haven't started your fitness journey yet, I encourage you to start because it can and it will impact you if you take it serious and you stay consistent over time. I think it'll have an impact more than you realize. It has. It's hard to explain. It's hard to understand unless you've actually done it yourself. If you don't believe me, just ask anybody that you know in your life that is pretty serious about their fitness journey, and they can tell you, they will tell you it has an impact on everything you do in your life. So that's my little soapbox about fitness and why you should why you should start your fitness journey. But yeah, my story is I started fitness back in freshman year of high school. I started working out for sports. I played football, baseball, and I also played a little bit of basketball my first few years of high school. So we started working out for sports, obviously, because I was a little skinny, tiny mite. I was like 115 pounds my freshman year of high school. And I think after my freshman year was over, I was up to 130. So I gained like 15 pounds, which is good for me, for my size. I'm 5'9", I'm not very tall, and I was always super skinny. So any muscle that I could gain was a big win for me always. But yeah, as soon as I started working out and I started putting on some size, starting to gain a little bit of strength, saw my body improving, saw it putting on a little muscle, I immediately got hooked. I don't know why, I liked it for some reason. So I started doing it and I never looked back from there. Like I've been working out 5 to 6 days a week for going on 11 years now. So, well, technically August would be 11 years. I can't remember if I started in that summer or if I started when the school year started. So we'll just go with August. So yeah, August would be 11 years, 5 to 6 days a week continuously, and I've never stopped. It's just been something I enjoy. I like doing. It keeps me, it keeps my stress down, keeps me mentally sane, and all that kind of stuff. So I enjoy it, and I don't ever see myself not doing fitness in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Because talk about later, I haven't always done the same exact thing. We've changed it up a little bit. Yeah, so I did kind of strength training um, throughout high school, but I also started going to the local gym, the YMCA, which is actually where I still work out now. And I started doing some bodybuilding type training, and I would do this after practice each day. So I was basically doing 2 days all through high school, which at the time I thought it was helping me, and I thought I was doing good, but it actually, now that I realize I'm a little bit smarter, a little bit more educated on fitness, now I realize that it was probably hurting me more than it was actually helping me. So if I could go back, I wouldn't do those 2 days because I was just overdoing it. I was way overtraining, especially because I was practicing 2 hours a day on top of that. So it wasn't very good for my body. But luckily I was young and I could recover from it. So it didn't affect me at that time. But I probably could have seen better results and done a little bit better if I wouldn't have done so much, if I would have toned it back a little bit. But I was young. I didn't know. I was still learning. and it was just trial and error. And that's what I figured out. And it took me this many years, this long, to finally figure that out. But yeah, I did that. Same thing in college. I didn't do much strength training in college because we didn't do like sports workouts, but I did do bodybuilding type training all through college, and I played sports. I was actually a cheerleader in college, so I was lifting humans at practice all day, and I would work out at the gym. So again, I was basically doing 2 a days. So I was burning tons of calories. I eating enough food, so I never really put on a lot of size. I mean, I put on some muscle for sure. I definitely had a good little build to me, but I didn't really put on some size and take it really serious until after I graduated college. When I got home from college, I no longer played sports, so I had to have something to keep me busy. And that thing for me was fitness. So I really got serious about my fitness when I got home from college. I really started taking my nutrition serious, started prioritizing protein, and I really put on some size and I really started gaining some weight because I wasn't as active, so I wasn't burning as many calories. I am still very active, but not as active as I was then. But I also started eating a lot more food, a lot more protein, which helped me put on a lot of size, a lot of strength. Um, and that's just because I'm more educated. I know more about it now, and I know what my body needs to grow. Um, if you're a skinny guy like me, odds are you're not eating enough food. You need to eat more food. More specifically, you need to eat more protein. But yeah, that's all things I just learned through trial and error. It took that time, that experience, because all through that time I never hired a coach, never had a training coach. I literally just YouTubed everything, and that's how I learned things on my own. Most time I didn't even YouTube anything. I just was doing it all on my own. But yeah, so if I could go back and do it again, I definitely would hire a coach, hire somebody that knows what they're doing, so I could skip all those years of trial and error. That's the thing. That's a good thing about hiring a mentor or a coach to help you is most of the time that coach or that mentor has already done what you're trying to do. They've already done all the trial and error. They put in the years of work, hard work, and figured out what works and what don't work. So when you hire them, they can tell you, "Hey, do this, don't do that, or don't do that. Like this is what worked for me. You should do this too." So it speeds up that process. It takes up a lot of that trial and error that you don't have to do, which is a good thing. Yeah, it's going to cost you money, but it's going to save you a lot of time when it comes to whatever it is. It don't just have to be fitness. It could be anything you're trying to do. If you're trying to run a business or something, you can hire your business coach to help you run your business. It pays dividends for sure when you have somebody that knows what they're doing to help you. So yeah, that's kind of my story. And then I told you, since I didn't play sports after college, I started picking up little hobbies. So played disc golf, which is very active. You get outside and you move, cornhole a little bit. But then what I did last year was I started this new thing where I started a bucket list of like events or challenges that I want to do in my life. So my goal is I want to do one big event and one big challenge every single year. So last year, my challenge I did was an Ironman. Actually, I'm wearing a shirt Ironman Florida 2023. So that was my event last year, and it was a completely new experience, something different than I had ever done. So I never ran, never biked, cycled, whatever you want to call it, and I never swam. So I literally started from scratch. It was something completely new for me, and I had to learn it, and I enjoyed the whole process. It took me basically a whole year. I started in January. The Ironman was in November, and it was fun. I liked it. Um, Definitely different than what I was doing. I was doing bodybuilding type working out, and then I went straight from strength training to cardio, basically endurance training. So for about 5 months up till May, I was still doing both. I was working out and doing endurance training. Because I was doing a shorter triathlon, but then after I did the short one and I completed it, that's when I decided to do the Ironman. So I signed up for the Ironman in June. So, but at that time, my training went way up, like way through the roof. I had to do a lot more endurance training. So, what I did was I cut back my strength training to 1 day a week. And I did that for 2 to 3 months. And then after that, I cut that 1 day a week out too. So, for months, I was literally doing no strength training. I was literally doing endurance training 7 days a week for several months. And it was absolutely brutal, but I enjoyed it. It was something different, it was new. I wasn't good at it, so I had to learn 3 new skills, not just 1. I had to learn 3. I had to learn to swim, bike, and run. So I learned a lot. Had to watch a ton of YouTube videos on how to swim, how to bike properly, how to run properly, and it was a whole new experience for me, and it was a good learning experience. I liked it a lot. So I liked it so much that I'm gonna do another one. I don't know when I'm going to do another one, but I will one day. Because I want to do it again. The whole race day experience was one that you'll never forget. And it's one of those things you'll never understand it until you actually do it yourself. Like you put yourself through the training, through all the blood, sweat, tears, early mornings. Like I was literally up running miles at 4 a.m., 3:30 a.m. in the morning because I had things to do that day, but I know I had to run 15 miles. So it was insane. It was a lot of training. It's not for everybody, so I'm not saying everybody should do it. But hey, if you're a adrenaline junkie, if you like challenging yourself and you haven't done Ironman, I would check it out for sure. It's something you definitely won't regret doing if you do it. I promise. It's really rewarding when you cross that finish line. It makes it seem like it was all worth it for sure. So yeah, but that was last year. That was 2023, and that was my challenge. So this year, I got to continue the bucket list. Got to knock the next thing off the list, which is a bodybuilding show. So that was the next thing on the list. I've never really been interested in bodybuilding ever. Like it's never been a thing that caught my attention or something I've been interested in or wanted to do. I just honestly I don't like the fact of getting almost butt naked and posing on a stage. I don't like that because you're very vulnerable when you're up there like that. So it's never been something I really looked into. And honestly, I don't care for the big, giant, swole, jacked up look like bodybuilders like a typical bodybuilder looks. I don't like that look personally. But being not as educated, I didn't realize that you don't have to be that big to be a bodybuilder. There's different divisions, different classes that you can do that has different builds, different types of builds. So the big jack swole dudes you see, that's actually a different class. You don't have to compete in that one. They actually have one for smaller people, which is what I'm doing. I'm competing in classic physique. If you're familiar with bodybuilding competitions, but yeah, so I didn't realize that. But my goal this year was to do a bodybuilding show. So I'm doing one August 24th. I'm 10 weeks out right now in the middle of prep. Um, so far, it's going good. It's been, again, it's a whole new learning experience. I've never done posing before ever in my life. So I'm having to learn how to pose. Trust me, it is not easy. So don't think posing is easy. It's not. It's definitely a science. There's an art to it. It's a lot of work, and I feel super uncomfortable doing it. So it's again, it's something I'm gonna have to learn a lot about, get familiar with, practice a lot. I've been practicing. I've been doing a lot of posing. I actually hired a separate posing coach, so I have two coaches. I have one bodybuilding contest prep coach, and then I also have a posing coach that helps me just with my posing. So I've been learning that. It's been fun. It's been interesting. I've learned a lot about nutrition like timing, food, like macros, all that kind of stuff, which I think personally is good for me. That way I can teach it to y'all. But yeah, that's been the bodybuilding uh, experience. I've been eating a lot of food, tons of food, more food than I've ever ate in my life, and it's tough, it's hard, and it hasn't really got super hard yet. I know it's gonna get a lot harder. My food's gonna start dropping. My cardio kicked up this week, so I'm doing more cardio this week than I've been doing, and my food's gonna keep dropping. So it's gonna be brutal the next few weeks, but I think it's gonna be worth it. I'm excited to see how shredded I can get. I've never actually like dieted down super hard because I've always been trying to gain weight. I've always trying to put on muscle and get a little bigger because I'm not that big of a person. I'm 5'9". I'm like 180 pounds. And actually, I'm pretty big for my frame right now. I'll probably be 175, 170 ish by the time I compete. So I'm not the biggest person. So I've always been trying to put on weight, put on muscle. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited to actually diet down and do it the right way and see how shredded I can get. Because I've never done it, and that's just something I want to do. Like I'm getting pumped for that. I'm not looking forward to being hungry all the time and going through that part, but I'm curious to see what my body looks like without a bunch of body fat on it. Just how it looks super lean. So that's gonna be cool. That's gonna be interesting. Oh, also I had to get a spray tan. That's gonna be super interesting too. If you know me, you know I'm super pale. I have very pale skin. So being tan is gonna be funny. Like I'm I'm kind of looking it's gonna be comical. Like honestly, it's gonna be funny seeing me with a tan because I have pale skin and freckles. So that's the one thing I didn't like. I really didn't want to do a bodybuilding show because you have to do the spray tan. I'm not looking forward to it, but I've already accepted it at this point. Like I really don't care at this point. Um, I still hadn't got used to posing in the little posing trunks though. It looks like a little what they call it, speedo. It's basically what it is, a speedo, and I'm not comfortable in that at all. So I'm just letting y'all know if y'all see see me on stage, I'm gonna be very vulnerable, but that's part of it. We gonna knock it out and we gonna do it. But yeah, I got a lot of other things on the bucket list coming up. I hadn't decided what I'm gonna do next year. But we're gonna see. There's one that I'm looking into, which is a ultra Spartan race. It's something that I'm looking into. That's probably what I'm gonna do next year. But we'll see. Like I said, I want to do the Ironman. I want to do an ultra marathon, so a 100 mile marathon. I want to do that, but that'll probably take me a few years to build up to. But we'll see. So yeah, we staying active, staying doing something athletic. Like I've always grew up playing sports, so that's why I like doing the Ironman, doing the bodybuilding show, doing something competitive. I like to compete, like to push myself, like to see what I'm capable of. That's what a lot of people. That's what a lot of people don't realize is they don't realize what they're capable of. They don't realize what their body can do. They don't realize what their mind can do. And that's because they never push themselves. They don't put themselves in those situations. They don't push themselves out of their comfort zone. They don't try new things because they like to be comfortable. And that's totally okay. If you want to be comfortable, that's cool. But you're capable of more than what you're doing right now. You are. You just hadn't realized it. You hadn't done it. You hadn't pushed yourself that extra mile, and that's why holds a lot of you back. A lot of you have big dreams, big goals, big aspirations. You want to do these big, amazing things, but you're scared. You're scared to step out. You think people are gonna talk about you, make fun of you. Well, guess what? They are. They're gonna talk about you. They're gonna make fun of you while you're doing it, while you're on the come up. But once you make it, once you achieve that goal, it's gonna be the complete opposite. They're gonna be asking you, "Hey, how'd you do that? Hey, can you help me do that?" It's gonna flip. So you just gotta push through that hard time. But it'll be definitely be worth it. And at the end of the day, who cares? Like, who cares what other people say about you? That's what took me a while about the podcast because I've been wanting to do a podcast and YouTube videos forever, but I was always scared. I was like scared of what people's gonna think, what people gonna say. And something else that I realized is when you first starting out, nobody's even gonna listen to you. Like there's you probably ain't even listening to this podcast right now. But yeah, like nobody's watching your videos and listen to your podcast when you first start. So it takes a while to build up that audience, to build up the recognition and get people to watch. And let's be honest, if you're on the internet, you're gonna get hate, period, regardless. There's just negative people out there that have nothing better to do but to hate on you. Even me on with a small podcast, small social media, YouTube channel, I still get hate comments on there just from random users like Minecraft 101. Well, some hateful stuff on there. Like, who cares? It's probably some little 12-year-old troll and whatever, it's whatever. Now I lost track where I was at. We was talking about bucket list. Oh well, I don't know what I was just talking about. Oh, we're talking about where I came from. I always was off athletic, so that's why I got into the Ironman bodybuilding show because it gives me something to do, something to train for. It gives me a goal. That's the main thing. It gives me a goal to train for, and that's what some of y'all need. Y'all need a goal. So don't just say I want to lose weight. A lot of y'all need to lose weight. Everybody needs to lose weight at this point with all the junk food we all be eating. But you need to make it an actual goal, achievable goal that you can do. So instead of saying I want to lose weight, think of a more specific goal. Like maybe I wanna lose 20 pounds by this date. Like say you have your birthday coming up or you're going to the beach coming up. Well, I need to lose 20 pounds by the time we go to the beach or something like that. Or if you have a favorite pair of pants, I like to use this analogy. If you got some jeans that you used to wear back in the day that you just love, but you can't fit in them anymore, well, that should be your goal. Your goal should be, I want to fit in that pair of jeans that I used to wear. So it attaches like some emotion to it as well, which makes you even want to achieve it even more because like you have an emotional attachment to those jeans, or you have an emotional attachment to that date or that your birthday or Christmas or whatever you got coming up that you want to look better for, or you have some pictures you got to take, or you have a wedding coming up. Gives you something to look forward to, something to motivate you a little more. So it's better for when you set a goal like that. So that's why I like doing the challenges. And it's a way for me to just learn new stuff, learn new things. Because if I didn't do it, then I would have never learned about it. And it's cool learning new things every now and then, like stepping out of your comfort zone. Like the Iron Man for me was way out of my comfort zone, like super new. It was a lot to learn, but I'm glad I did it. And you can never take that away from me. You can never take when that I'm an Iron Man. You can't take that title away from me. You can't take all the swimming that I learned. You can't take the running skills that I learned. You can't take the biking, cycling skills that I learned. You can't take that from me. I had that from with me forever. And now I can utilize that in different areas of my fitness journey. It's awesome. Because now I like to do the spin bike for cardio. Now I like to go for runs for cardio. Honestly, I probably will even go swimming again at some point. but we'll see. So yeah, that brings me back to episode 1 of the podcast, and it was titled "Consistency is Key." If you haven't yet, go back episode 1, listen to this 100 episodes ago. Listen to the episode where I talk about consistency is key. And the reason I picked that topic for episode number 1 is because I think consistency is the number one thing to be successful in your fitness journey is consistency. And same thing goes with this podcast. I was consistent, and that's why we're at the 100th episode, because I've been consistent, and that's what y'all got to do too. I had a little bump in the road down the way where I quit for a while, or I was on and off for a while. And that's going to happen in your fitness journey too. You're going to hit some obstacles, you're going to hit some bumps in the road. It's going to get you off track, but you got to get back on track. You got to steer back and get back on your goals on your fitness journey, because it's not just going to be an uphill ride from here. It's going to be a roller coaster. So that's what we did. And that's what you have to do, not only in your fitness journey, but in everything you do in life. You got to be consistent, but especially in your fitness journey. I always like to say you don't have to be perfect in your fitness journey. Nobody's perfect. You need to follow the 80-20 rule. You need to be doing the right things, doing what you need to do 80% of the time. And the other 20%, you can have those fun foods that you enjoy. You can not work out. You can take a day off, whatever. You can slack a little bit. You But 80 over 20, that's consistent. If you do that, yeah, you're not going to see results as fast as you would if you was 100%, but it's better than 50%, or it's better than 0%, which most of you are at 0%. You may start out at 100, but then you fall off one week and you went to 80. Then you fell off another week, you went to 50, and you fell off again. Now you're at 0 and you ain't doing nothing. So that's what most people do. They start out strong, they fall off one time, and then they allow themselves to fall off again because it's okay, because they missed one the first time. So it's, oh well, they missed one day. What's another day? And then that turns into a week, that turns into a month, turns into a year, and then boom, you're right back where you started, or you stayed in the same place. You never even got any better. You never saw any progress. And that's that continuous loop that people get in, and that's why they never see progress. So you just gotta be consistent. If you miss a day at the gym, oh well, it's not that big a deal. Go the next day, make it up. It's not that hard. Just be consistent. Or if you miss a whole entire week, honestly, still not that big a deal. You missed a week. Guess what? You can go the next week and you can get right back on track. The thing you got to do on a day that you have like a day that you binge eat, you're eating some stuff you shouldn't eat, or a day that you've been drinking all night, you went to the bar, had too many drinks, and you missed the next day, or you was off that day. The worst thing you can do is allow yourself to take the next day off, because you're telling yourself mentally, hey, I'm taking this day off because I had a bad day. Like I binge ate yesterday. Oh well, I'm not gonna go to the gym today because I binge ate. So now what's the point? Why would I even go? I already ruined my progress. I ruined my diet, whatever. Like that's the worst mindset you can have, because that's gonna get you off track and you're never gonna get back on track, and you're gonna be in the same exact place. You're gonna be stuck. So the number one thing you can do is make yourself go. Just be consistent. If you know you gotta go to the gym that day, go to the gym that day. Like, period. Don't make an excuse. Or if something comes up and you can't go, you do have to miss, no big deal. Go the next day. It's not that hard. But as soon as you allow yourself to take that next day off, and then you tell yourself the next day, oh, it's okay. I missed the day before. I can miss the day too. It's just a compounding effect. And then eventually you're just not going at all. So you just gotta be consistent. Yes, I can't harp on it enough. If you're consistent over time, you will see results. Period. If you're consistent doing the right things. Let me rephrase that. If you're doing the right things consistently, you will see progress. Period. That's just how it works. Yeah, it may take you longer than if you was to be 100%, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's gonna be 100%, not even myself. So that's okay. You just gotta understand that. Don't be too hard on yourself. This is a problem that I have, is I'm super hard on myself, and I'll get in my own head telling myself, dang, I shouldn't have ate that, or dang, should have went to the gym day, or whatever. And I'm hard on myself. But the one thing I never, ever, ever do is take the next day off. Ever. I don't allow me having a bad day affect my next day, because I know I got to go back to the gym and get it done regardless. Like, that's what I don't do. I don't let days compound on top of each other, because that's what's going to stop you from going. I put it past me. Yeah, I'm mad at myself for a little bit, and that's okay. But I put it past me and I get back to work the next day. And that's the number one thing that has allowed me to see success in my fitness journey. Because I'm not as smart as a lot of these fitness people. I'm not as talented. I'm not as big. I'm not as muscular, strong. I'm not as motivated. I'm not as dedicated. I don't, I'm not the number one at any of these things, but I'm consistent at all of those things. So that's what's allowed me to see progress. I'm not perfect, and I'll never say I'm perfect, and I'm not the best at any of these. I just do all of it consistently. Not every day, not perfectly, but I do it over time. That leads to results. And like I said, I've been doing it 11 years now. So I've had 11 years of consistent compounding results building on top of each other. And that's why I'm in the position I am today. No, I don't have the best physique. I have an above average physique, I would say, for the majority of people. But yeah, that's that's just what you got to do. You just got to be consistent. It's not that hard. And most people think you got to work out 5, 6 days a week. You got to eat nothing but chicken, broccoli, and rice. Like, no, that's not the case. You don't have to work out that many days. Start with 3 days. You don't even have to start with weights. Start with working out at home. Actually, I would start going for walks. Like, if you ain't even going for a walk, if you're not getting 8 to 10,000 steps in a day, go for a walk. Start there. That's the number one thing you should start with, and then slowly add in some things, add in some weights, maybe even add in just body weight workouts, jumping jacks, push ups, air squats. Like, you ain't got to start with weights. People think you got to jump in the commercial gym, start lifting weights immediately, 5, 6 days a week, eating chicken and broccoli. Like, no, you ain't got to do that. That's extreme. That's what bodybuilders do. And they do it for a living. They do it for a sport, and that's why they do that. You don't have to do that. You got to find what's sustainable and what works for you. If you are an ice cream fanatic like I am, you can still have your ice cream and see fitness progress as well. Also, speaking of ice cream, if you like ice cream, get you a Ninja Creamy ASAP. That thing is money. Get you a Ninja Creamy. You can make whatever ice cream you want, and I make protein ice cream, and it's very, very low calorie with a lot of protein in it, and you can still make it taste good. You can still make it taste pretty sweet, and it's the same consistency as ice cream. So if you like ice cream, you have a sweet tooth, but you're trying to hit your fitness goals, get you a Ninja Creamy. It won't disappoint. I promise. That thing is money. It's one of my favorite things I bought. Unfortunately, while I'm on prep right now, I can't eat it at all. I'm not eating no ice cream right now. But you best believe as soon as we off prep, we could be eating some ice cream again. So yeah, just be consistent and you will see results. That's all I pretty much got to say about it. I mean, it's not that hard. If you don't know how to be consistent, you don't know where to start. If you need help, if you don't know what to eat, hit me up. Send me a DM. I'm offering fitness coaching now, online fitness coaching. So y'all hit me up. We offer training, nutrition, and accountability. We'll help you get you started on the right track, get your mindset right, get you starting on your daily habits, creating those habits, those good routines to get you in that get you set up for your fitness journey. So yeah, y'all send me a DM, Murphy McFit on all social medias, or any way you can get in contact with me. Just hit me up, let me know, ask me any questions you have. I'd love to help you out. So yeah, if y'all haven't yet, leave a review. It's 100th episode. If y'all been listening, what y'all doing? Leave me a review. I'd appreciate it. Let me look on Apple. We have Apple Podcasts. I have 13 ratings. So we need to get that up to 20. I need 20 ratings. Y'all help me out. Let me get to 20 ratings on Apple Podcasts. If you're on Spotify, I only have 7. So we got to get that up to at least like 12, 10 or 12. Y'all help me out. Leave a review, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you tune in at. I really appreciate it. Share it with a friend. Tell your friends about it. Ask a friend to go to the gym with you. If you just started out, if you need a buddy, ask somebody to go with you. Sometimes people are afraid to go by themselves, and they just need a little motivation. They need a little partner, somebody they can talk to in the gym to get you going. So yeah, ask your friend, take your buddy to the gym, um, and y'all get them gains together. Y'all see them results together. And if you need a buddy, you don't have one, hey, hit me up. We'll figure something out. We'll find you one somehow. Or hey, you can even come work out with me if you want to. I would enjoy it. I like working out with people. Unfortunately, I work out at 5 a.m. So if you want to come with me, you got to get up early. But hey, if you bout that life, y'all come on. So yeah, that's all I got for y'all today. Episode 100 of the podcast. Again, super proud of myself for even making it this far. Honestly, I'm just sitting here talking to a computer screen. But I enjoy it. I like it. I don't see myself stopping. We're gonna keep making podcast episodes. If you have any ideas, any topics, or if you have any questions, please hit me up. Let me know so we can talk about it on the podcast. I would love to get some good questions on here. I want to do some different style podcasts. I don't really know it's hard to do different styles when you're a solo podcast host. Like I'm the only one on the podcast. So I'd love to get some more interviews. If you want me to, if you have a fitness background, you want me to interview you, or if you made a major transformation, like if you've lost a bunch of weight or something, I'd love to get you on the podcast and we can talk about it, ask you what you did, because I think that would help other people, help the listeners know how they can do it and that they can too. So if you have a cool story or something like that, hit me up. We'll get on the podcast and talk about it. I love to chit chat about fitness because that's my thing. That's what I like to do. So yeah, I love to get some cool podcast topics. We're gonna find some different ways in these next 100 episodes. We're gonna find some different ways to change it up, do some different things just to keep y'all on your toes, keep it interesting, and hopefully get some more listeners to the podcast, spread the word, get people started on their fitness journey. Again, that's the whole idea of the podcast. That's why it's called the Fitness Beginner Podcast. We want people beginning their fitness journey. So yeah, that's it for this episode. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Hope y'all enjoyed the story. We'll see y'all next week in episode 101. Till then, peace, love, protein. We out.